Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sushant ChessWise. Today we are at the next crash course and we are going to discuss about isolated pawn. How isolated pawn plays a major role in letting us get a kingside attack. So see, we have got this isolated queen pawn. Basically this is our topic. So I have started with a position here. If I would do with a game, begin with a game, then the game would become, or the lesson would become very long. So I thought let's start the first example with the position here. How the things stand, let us see. White has got an isolated pawn. Black was trying to pressurize the pawn, and the main thing that opponent does is he tries to stop the advance of the pawn. So through these lessons we are going to discuss 5 main plans which are there for the side who has the isolated pawn. First let us understand what are the things the side with the isolated pawn gets. See, generally he gets one open file next to the isolated pawn and one semi-open file next to the isolated pawn. So there are no neighboring pawns to the isolated pawn. So what he got open files. And the square e5 and c5, they can often become outpost or a strong square. In this case, you can see the e5 square can be very useful for the knight. You will see in the coming variations. And one more thing that happens, usually there is a pawn on c6 or e6. One of the pawn is there. If there is pawn on e6, then the c8 bishop suffers. If there is a pawn on c6, then the b8 knight suffers. So one of the piece suffers a bit. And against that, white tries to generate play on the black king or usually in the center. This position shows how the break d5 leads to an attack on the enemy king. So this was the position here. And it is black to play. See, white's last move is bishop a2. We are going to discuss what are the things black could have done, seeing that d5 is coming. In the game, black decided to stop d5 or make the impact of d5 less by giving protection to the e7 bishop. See, generally speaking, the bishop on e3 is not a great piece. In this opening, see, this has come from a c3 Sicilian opening, Alapin Sicilian, in which the opening was played bit, I think, not in a best manner. So white had to post his bishop on the e3 square. Usually the bishop finds itself on g5 and h6 squares. So that is the thing. I will give the opening moves in the description. You will come to know how this position came. So black played the move rook e8 in the game. Let us see if black would have played some other move like bf8, taking the bishop away from this file. So if bf8 was played, then also see white would play d5, forcing almost e takes d5, knight takes d5, and see now the both rooks become lively. This is first point. Knight takes d5, bishop takes d5, and we see that various kinds of threats now loom on the black king. See, first f7 is weak. It doesn't look like a major threat like bf7 is coming. When I saw this example for the first time, I saw that immense complications are there and most of them are in white's favor. The point is that, see, the black pieces are mostly on the queen side and center. No one is attending the king side. Only the f8 bishop is there. To some extent, queen is there. White, on the other hand, see, has center and the king side. This bishop eyes g5, h6, knight eyes e5, g5, and the queen and the rook they are eyeing these all e6, e7, e8, these important squares. And the bf7 check is looming in most lines. Like, see, now bf7 check is threatened because queen would be lost. So black has to move the queen, and after move like queen e7, we can see that, see, there can be either the dangerous bishop g5, okay, using this, or even the move knight g5, putting pressure on f7. So you can easily make out that white has some initiative here. And the lines which we are going to discuss, they will definitely prove our point. Thus, let us go into the move rook e8 first and see what happens. Black went rook e8. Now the e5 is well covered, okay, and white of course goes with d5. This is the first thematic break when having an isolated pawn. So e takes d5, knight takes d5, and yet again see knight d5 almost forced, because knight is threatening knight e7 check or knight f6 check, or even the slower moves like bishop f4, which is very dangerous. See, bishop f4, bishop attacks the queen, knight attacks e7, knight attacks f6, rook and queen both are eyeing the e8 square. That would be winning. So knight into d5 and bishop takes d5. So this happens to be the main point of our analysis. We will look at various moves for black and try to understand whether this position is already winning for white. Once the d5 break happens, we see that all these pieces have come into life. Bishop eyes f7, e3 eyes h6, e2, d1, e1. All the three are open. And now see, we will see various tactical ideas. Firstly, let us see the black queen will of course move. Bishop f7 is a threat. So queen has three moves. Queen c7 is there, queen f6 is there, and queen b8 is there. In the game, black played qb8, which is criticized by many players. Even my students say, sir, who will play qb8? Black played in such a bad way, so white won. I said very true, but see, the player here, concerned one with black, see, he knew what is happening in the other lines and he took his queen away from the sensitive point d6. So let us see the most obvious one. Queen f6 first. This looks very obvious. So now see, first comes bishop g5, attacking the queen. Even the move bh6 is very strong. Knight g5 would be a major threat. But let's go with the forced move first. Now see, the queen has to be placed properly. Otherwise what happens? There is a tactic now all the time. bc6 followed by be7. Piece goes for free. Queen f5. Black somehow saves himself, because bishop c6, rook c6, be7, re6. He will use this idea to grab the bishop back. So now white does a very strong move, bishop e4. Suddenly takes the bishop away, puts question to the queen, and the black queen struggles. Now the point is, first see, if queen g4, queen is getting stuck here. There is a very interesting, or we can say computer-like finish. h3, pushing the queen to h5. Many moves should work here. Like bishop c6 can work over here, forcing him to take rook c6. That idea. Now the queen is stuck, so rook into e7 or rook d8. Those ideas are absolutely dangerous. See, bishop c6, queen c6, rook d8. Such a dangerous move. If rook takes d8, then queen e7, attacking d8, b7, all that. Those ideas can be more dangerous in the other line as well. But imagine the move queen f1 here. Computer spots these kind of moves in a fraction of a second. See, what's the point? If we played g4, h3 was hanging. So what? h3 is supported by the queen. So threat is g4, queen trap. And secondly, he just wants the piece now. Bishop c6 followed by rook takes c7. And there is no way to get rid of both. And white wins. Thus after bishop e4, it's clear that the queen has to rush to a5. And another deadly move suggested by computers. These kind of moves humans can also spot very easily. The queen is forced away, and now comes c bd5. It's game over. Now see, bishop f7 is coming. Bishop f7 because bf7, kf7, queen e6. These ideas are very common, and then take on e7. We'll come to that soon, that bf7 idea. And here see, we can do the move bishop c6, rook c6, and maybe the move rook d8 now, which would win instantly. See, the point is now very clear. The queen is away on a5. So after rook takes d8, queen takes e7, d8, b7, both are hanging. So let's say rook c, d6, and here white can just do queen takes b7. Now rook d1, trying to attack the rook on e1, and just we can see that the move queen e7 should win for white. Because after all the exchanges on e1, re1, queen e1, queen e1, knight e1, rook d1, king f1, and two pieces for rook, and even there are no pawns for black. So that will be an easy win for white. Let's go to the other queen move now. Most common one is the move qc7, suggested by many as a far better defensive try. But here too we can see the move bf7 becomes very dangerous now. See, bishop takes f7, king takes f7, and here in fact there are two ideas. One is instantly going queen c4, and other is the very strong bh6. This move we will see time and again in this analysis. What's the point? See, queen e6 is instant mate, and so is the move queen c4 very strong. Hardly there is a way to contend against both. See, if ND8 stopping both the checks, there is the deadly rook D7, and see E7 is attacked. If rook queen D7, then NE5 check and the queen is lost. So see, the position is outright winning. We should also consider the move rook into D8, because if rook D8, then see queen E6 is checkmate, and if bishop takes D8, then queen takes E8. That is also game over. Although the main part of analysis is like after QC4 check, KG7, white has the very strong move bishop F4 attacking the queen, and now also you can see there are various troubles for black. The queen is in fact trapped, so only move B5, and to B5 comes queen C3 check, queen moves away with a check, bishop F6 perhaps forced, and now what would you do as white? Here white can just be a pawn up with the move bishop C7, bishop C3, rook E8, rook E8, BC3. But many players would say the position was a winning one. Why to do all this? That is why I showed you the line Bf7, King F7, Bh6, which was winning on the spot. And finally we have the game position with the move Queen B8. Here in the game, white decided to go with the move Bh6, which wins the piece by force in almost all the lines. See, there is a double threat. Now Bf7, Kf7, Queen E6 is met, and QC4 is a threat, and see multiple threats are looming. So this wins by force. I will show you how. But first let us again look at the move bishop F7, trying to conclude the whole analysis of Bf7, bishop F7, King F7, Bh6, and ND8 I told you there is RD8, so King G8 forced perhaps. After the move bishop F8 also you can see knight G5 check, Kg8, QC4 check, King H8, many things can happen literally. So NF7 check, Kg8, I like this a lot. ND8 check, interfering the rook's defense, King H8, and just rook takes E8. The point is simple. As soon as rook D8 comes, white goes queen C3 check, Kg8. See, the bishop is pinned, so just QG7 checkmate on the spot. White of course will have many other things also. So black can do Kg8 here, to which queen E6 or queen C4 check, both come to the same thing, King H8, queen F7, threatening mate on G7. So see, bishop F8 forced, and now see the question, what is the weakness? H7 is weak, so see, rook D7 and NG5, both finish off the game on the spot. Perhaps rook D7 is slightly stronger. And here to see RE1 check, rook takes C1, RC7, and there is a pretty finish. That is why I showed this position. White has a forced mate in 3 moves. See, BG7 check, bishop takes G7, rook E8 check, queen E8, queen E8, Bf8 and queen F8 mate. Sorry, it was mate in 4 actually. So white would have won this way as well. Let's see the game and conclude our analysis. White went Bh6 in the game, to which black played ND4. See, if ND8 is played, we can see the back rank is terribly weak. White uses a deadly tactic here. Queen E7, rook E7, rook takes E7, attacking F7, threatening mate on E8. Rook attacks B7 as well. See, so when the knight moves to cover the back rank, let's say knight E6, then rook B7. What a way to grab material. White has taken for the queen 3 pieces, queen plus bishop plus knight, and that too, see, after rook B7, the queen is confined to 8, and white can do whatever he wants, right from bishop E6 followed by bishop C8, or rook into F7, king F7, B8, everything should win for white. So after ND4, of course, white went rook D4, supporting the bishop on D5. Black just wanted to use the discovered attack over here, so he went bishop F8, bishop attacks the bishop on H6, and rook attacks the queen. White played the very simple bishop E3, and black just lost the piece. He chose to resign. I think even the move queen D2 could have been played, but after B3, black chose to resign in the game. Of course, the analysis was of a bit higher level, I would say, because even when I saw this example for the first time, My rating was close to 2200. I found the stuff bit complicated. I could calculate many of the things, but to understand that the position is totally winning took me some time. I hope you will enjoy the lesson as much as I did. Do let me know in the comments below. Thanks for your time.